Hello everyone and welcome to Pokemon TCG HQ. I'm Luke and today we're going to have a bit of an interesting expanded battle. So I'm going to be playing against Tamao, who's a fellow member and very good player in the UK community. Plays some solid decks, done really well the past few seasons. So it should be a good one, very competent player. So I'm going to be playing Blastoise. This is a list that I'm going to be using. It's fairly standard, not too dissimilar from this at Jake and Van Wagner, apologies. Used to win the World Championships last year. And the added extra is obviously Fisherman. With this format, bringing Fisherman back, it is very, very useful. A lot of people don't like Fisherman and have stuck with the 4 Superiors, but I just think it gives you that extra. Sometimes you have to burn a couple of Superior Energy Retrieval turn 1 to get the turn 1 Blastoise, and it leaves you in a dangerous position. Obviously with VSCK you can use that up to 5 times in the game, so it just gives that extra dimension. Everything else pretty standard. 10 energy, 1 with C's, a lot of low counts of supporters, and that just purely is to maximise getting that turn 1 Blastoise out, which is what the deck relies on. Look at Blastoise, there's often like during your turn you may attach water energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So you can just attach as many energy as you want to power up your attackers. Your main attacker is Keldeo EX, does 50 plus 20 more for each water energy attached. It has a very good ability of rush in, so once you're on your turn you can rush into the active spot with Keldeo. Combine that with Floatstone. Floatstone, if you attach that to Keldeo, you can rush in and retreat into different Pokemon as long as you're not under ability lock. 2 Shaman, 2 Draxi just to increase your chances of getting the turn 1, drawing new hands, Tether Guidance from Draxi for the Archers and things like that. I do play some alternate attackers, non-EX attackers. Articuno, really good Pokemon against low HP decks such as Night March and Vespiquen. Also hits Flareon for weakness. If you do take a knockout with this Pokemon, you do take an extra prize, so often helps you to keep the prize trade in your favour, because they have to knock this out because it is a threat, taking multiple prizes, but they only take 1 for it. It is a bit risky. Its attack is flip 3 coins, does 40 more damage for each heads with a base of 20. So what you tend to do is with low HP Pokemon, sort of Night Marchers, they have a maximum of 60 HP. So as long as you flip 1 out of 3 heads, which the odds are you're likely to do, you will get a knockout and take an extra prize. Same with Combi from Vespiquen and even Flareon or Eevee, due to Flareon's water weakness. You can attach a Muscle Band to give it 40, which guarantees a knockout against things like Joltik and Combi, which helps. Do play the 1 Muscle Band in order to aid that and for other attackers. The rest of the deck is pretty straightforward. A lot of item cards to draw through the deck as quickly as we can, discard our hand down, so that we can play the turn 1 Blastoise. Computer search, crucial in this deck. As you discard, not only does it thin your hand down by 2 cards, it allows you to search for any card in your deck, maybe the missing piece of the puzzle you need to get the turn 1 Blastoise. So I'm going to hand over to Tamao now. Tamao's going to give you a rundown of the deck that he's going to be playing, and then we'll go into the battle.
Alright then, so I will go into the deck that I'll be playing against Luke will be Sableye Garbodor. So it's a mill deck. It doesn't really do any damage whatsoever. You're never going to attack and do damage anyway. So let me go through the attackers, so to speak. Junk Hunt with Sableye is what we'll be using primarily. Put 2 item cards from a discard pile into your hand. This will be useful because we play a lot of trainers that are very annoying and we'll be using them over and over in the game. It's slightly better than Bunnelby's Rototiller attack, which lets you just shuffle a card from your discard pile into your deck. This does let you get any card, but in general we want to be using Junk Hunt instead, although we will still play Bunnelby because the strategy is to deck out our opponent, and it has a pretty cool attack where it will let you borrow or Rototiller depending on the situation, and let you attack twice. You can chop and change it depending on what you want to do actually, which definitely comes up in situations. Rest of the deck, couple of Shaman in there thrown in. Garbodor is a huge component of the deck. It just stops stuff to put it simply, it just stops things happening. It's not really aimed at anything in particular. It just stops anything that could potentially be annoying. There's a lot of space in this deck, and Garbodor seems to fit very nicely. In this matchup that I'll be playing against Luke, I assume I will be stopping off, very importantly, both Russian and Blastoise's Deluge, and that'll be handy. Okay, we will also play one Jirachi. Toad is annoying as hell for this deck, because look at all the trainers we play. So Jirachi will kind of help a little bit. We also play 3 Floatstone, as you see later on. 3 Floatstone is really good with Jirachi, because if you can get a Floatstone on Jirachi, hopefully it will live 1 attack from a Toad, hopefully it doesn't get lasered, etc. And you can just retreat it and save it for another use later on. It's always going to be a threat on your bench then. If not, hopefully you can use Super to get it back in and recycle it against that particular matchup. That's the only matchup it really is for Toad. So we've got the full assortment of Crushing Hammers and 1 Enhanced Hammer, just to slow your opponent down whilst you're milling them. We also play 1 Bottle Compressor. It's pretty techie card. It's just to get stuff into the discard so I can junk on it back. There's particular one-offs that I may need in certain matchups, for like Life Dew for example, or Super Rod as I mentioned, and that's its use. Only real use for it is the mirror. I do kind of want to take a prize at some point in the mirror to go ahead in prizes, because it's gonna be just a war of attrition, and this one card will help you do some damage that you can rack up without having to put an attacker in. So that's one card we've decided to put in for that matchup. We've gone over Super Rod. You can recycle it as well, it's quite cool. 1 Tool Scrapper, get rid of any annoying tools so that you can go on to Headringers, which will slow down attacks again. 3 Trainer's Mill for consistency. 2 Trick Shovel is the really important card in this deck, because it's slow milling your opponent when they're not actually milling them, you're just annoying them. And Trick Shovel just lets you weave in certain discards every now and again. You can just junk on it back. You don't have to discard 2 every turn, you just have to get 1 and maybe a VS Seeker or a Crushing Hammer, something that you'll need for next turn. Everything else is pretty standard. We won't go too much over the other trainers. We've got 1 AZ because it's a really good supporter, 1 Gets This because it's another annoying supporter, which lets you also draw cards, which is nice. 1 Lysander, could go up to 2, but we do play Battle Compressor and 4 VS Seekers, so it's essentially like playing 2. Couple of Ends, load of Sycamores, more energy removal with Team Flaregron and Xerasik, and Life Dew is very important. It just stalls the game out even further, gets you safe into a game state where you can actually just control the full game and make them have to take more than 6 knockouts, and a couple of Dark Energies on top of that. So that is the deck. I will be leaving you in the very capable hands of Luke Kirkham to go over the battle, so see you later.
Okay, so you've seen the 2 deck lists, and now we're going to go into a quick battle. So I'm challenging Tamao. It's obviously get an expanded format, not theme. So let's change that to expanded. Let's click on my Blastoise list, and let's send the request. So obviously I'm playing my Blastoise, as you've seen. Tamao, Sableye, Garb. Should be an interesting matchup. I've played Blastoise a fair amount this season. I say fair amount. I played 2 tournaments, 1 league challenge and 1 regional. Managed to come second in the regional, so I'm quite confident with the deck. But tomorrow he's playing this very annoying Sableye Garb deck. So let's see if I can get a turn 1 Blastoise. It is quite crucial. Articuno is also quite important in this matchup, so that you can accelerate taking prizes. So I'm going first. Let's see what kind of hand we get. So starting with Execute, not ideal. Let's be honest. They tend to not knock things out, so it's not ideal. But let's see what we can get. We can get a turn 1 Blastoise from this hand, which is always a positive thing. So Acrobite is some kind I'm going to see. Let's see what else we've got going. So I'm going to get the Floatstone, discarding the Execute. Execute's 1 Pokemon, that's quite nice having a discard. Obviously, when Garbodor comes out, it nullifies that. So I'm going to Acrobike away a Blastoise, get it in the discard. So let's see what we've got. There's 1 Blastoise. Let's get rid of the 2nd Blastoise, and let's get rid of an Arches. Okay. So I'm going to computer search away a Professor's Letter and a Water Energy to get the second Arches. There we go. And play down Rough Seas, attach to Water Energy, Float Stone, and then Arches Ace in the hole. Ideally that would have been a different Pokemon, an attacking Pokemon in the active, or at least a Keldeo with the Float Stone. Not the ideal hand. Let's go again. Somehow just giving words of encouragement, shall we say, in the corner there. So I'm going to pull these away, get a Shame in so that I can set up and draw into bigger hand. See if we can get some attackers down on the board. So let's get a Shame in the X. And then let's set up. Still frustratingly no Pokemon. We'll bench down the Unknown. Let's play Trainer's Mail, see what we can get. Bile Compressor. See how many energy we've got. See if we can utilise. So yeah, we're going to take the Bile Compressor. I'm actually going to get 2 energy in discard so that we can utilise Superior Energy Retrieval to its maximum and get 4. Let's Bile Compressor out of the way. I mean, getting the turn 1 Blastoise is what this deck is aims to do. It's a great thing to do. But against the deck that you're up against, ideally you want to get some attackers down on the field. So it's a double-edged sword in that respect. Let's get another Bile Compressor, send this deck out. See if we can not draw into an Ultra Ball or another Pokemon with the Unknown. So let's play the Farewell Letter. Again, VS Seeker. So unfortunately there's not much that we can do this turn. So I'm just going to end my turn at this point. Let Tamao take over. Crushing Hammer coming down. Obviously, playing that is he must have some sort of Shaming or something in hand, because he would only play that to try and send his hand down, knowing what deck that I'm playing. One would assume. He's done a bit of a thing, and there we go. There's perhaps Ultra Ball for a Shaming there. There we go. So set up for 4. Now I'm kind of hoping he plays that N in some regards. I'd like to get some energy on the field. I do have too many Pokemon on the field for my liking. A Float Stone as well ideally would have gone on to Blastoise in case he tries to Light Hand Store behind Blastoise. But we do have another one, so there's Trick Shovel, and unfortunately gets rid of Keldeo, which is not ideal because that's something we were looking to get down. But we will keep going. Huge attacker in this matchup would be Articuno. Articuno would allow us, we could get a Muscle Band on it, especially if we can get 1 heads, would knock out the Sableye, taking an extra prize. So even if it's Life Dew, would take a prize. If it's not Life Dew, it would take 2 prizes. And another Shaman. So he seems reluctant to use the Float Stone and the Trubbish. He seems reluctant to use the N. Maybe he thinks I've got a bad hand, which is fair enough as I didn't get an attacker down. All he needs now is an energy. Get some junk and action on the way. And there we go. It's not a massive amount more. He's got a Trubbish and a Float Stone. You can compress the things away. Let's see. Now the key to my turn is to get a lot of energy down. As much as I can this turn. I perhaps shouldn't have discarded that second Battle Compressor with the Battle Compressor, so I can get more energy in the discard, but we'll see if that becomes crucial. Okay, and he's still going. He might want to get a second Sableye down yet, and then N or Sycamore, I assume. There we go. So let's see what we get off this one. Do we get an attacker? We get a Kyurem. It's not the attacker we most wanted, but it's not bad. It does one shot any attackers that he's got. Let's see what we've got in the discard. So the only support we've got is Arches, unfortunately. So let's see if we can get and arches of some sort of Keldeo action going on. Okay, so let's get a Trainer's Mail. See what we got for this Trainer's Mail. Ultra Ball. So that's good. It means we can get a Keldeo down. Ideally, with the ball that we've got, we can get 2 attackers going. So I'm just trying to do the maths. Having 1 execute starting with it is not ideal. But we're definitely going to play this Kyurem down. And so we've got 4 energy in the discard. So I'm going to propagate the execute. I'm going to Ultra Ball the execute and a water energy. I'm going to get an Articuno because I'm hoping that I can actually use that VS Seeker for another Arches to get the Keldeo that he discarded with Trick Shovel. So let's get down Articuno. There's propagation, get that execute back if we can find it. There we go. So I'm going to Superior away and execute, and unfortunately water energy. Get another 4 water energies back. We do have a lot of Superior left in deck still, so it's not too much of an issue. And let's put some energy on the field. So I'm going to go aggressive in this matchup because I feel once he gets Garbodor out, this matchup can turn very quickly. Let's get that there. I'm going to put another 2 energy on Kyurem. I'm going to VS Seeker, the Arches, and then let's get the Keldeo back. Let's see what else we get off this. Then Trainer's Mail. We could get Superior. At this stage I don't think it's really doing much, so I'm going to go for an N. I'm going to get these energies down. Now I'm pretty certain that he can get a turn to Garbodor, judging by the hand. I can't remember exactly what he junk hunted. There was a VS Seeker. It may have been Ultra Ball to get the Garbodor, so I am going to play this one a bit safer. So I'm going to Deluge to Blastoise. The biggest target on my bench, biggest target on my bench is Blastoise. It has 4 retreat, so if he Lysanders that up with Garbodor out, I can't Deluge energies onto it, and I can't rush in to get rid of it, so I'm just sort of sitting there with it not doing a lot. So let's go for the gamble. Because I couldn't get the Muscle Band, I do need 2 heads here. Let's see if Lady Luck is on my side. So there's one, and unfortunately no, not this time. It would have been nice to get a Lysander on the Trubbish this turn. And here comes a Crushing Hammer action. Headringer on the Keldeo. Obviously if it's a different matchup without Garb, without a deck that basically aims to get rid of your whole deck, I've had to go through a lot of cards to get to this point, so it would be ideal for me to place energies round to prevent any stalling while he junk hunts the Trick Shovels and tries to deck me out. So he's mulling over what he has to do. Another Float Stone coming down. Tool Scrapper. So he's going to get rid of my Float Stone on my execute, which is fine. And he's going to play N maybe? Yep. So N. I do still have a Muscle Band in deck. Ideally if I can get a Muscle Band on Articuno, that would be quite useful. He can just junk hunt back the Tool Scrapper and get rid of it, so it'll only be useful for 1 turn, so I probably won't use it this turn unless he retreats. But we shall see. And I assume he is going to retreat here. Prevent me from getting those 2 prizes. Force me to have to flip 2 heads if I can't get the muscle band. It looks like he may have missed a Garbodor, so he's gone for the Confuse Ray, which is interesting. Luckily, he got the tails, so we'll give him a bit of a reprieve here. So let's Trainer's Mask, see if we can get this muscle band. We don't get it. I'm not going to dig too much. I'm just going to get the N. I'm not going to play it, however, because Tamao didn't really do a lot that turn. Play the Rough Seas for whatever benefit it does, and then I'm just going to take some prizes with tries. Let me just see how many waters we have in the discard, because I could. Yeah, we've got 2. Okay, so I'm actually going to play Fisherman. Let's get some water energies back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is all my energy I have. So I've got to be careful what I do here, because if I use all of my energies and he knows how many energy I play, then he can Lysander store when I have no way of retreating. So I'm just going to put 1. I'm actually going to hold on to them. I'm going to hold them because even if I put 1 there, he could Lysander the Keldeo, and I'm literally stuck with no energies. So let's take 2 prizes. Let's get a Tri-Edge off. It does a base 20, so regardless of how many heads I hit, I do take the 2 prizes. And with the plus Ancient Trait, I get to take an extra prize. Let's see what we've got. So over to Tamao. And there's the Garbodor. So I now no longer have any items. Sorry, abilities. Used to playing Toad. Good old Quaking Punch. And there's a Trickster, so he's going to try and deck me out here. Gets rid of an unknown. So I'm now on the clock here. If I luckily again, I'm getting quite lucky with these coin flips. He's flipping a lot of tails. Some heads could have swung the match up a little bit. Ideally would have liked him to get a heads on the Crushing Hammer when Execute was in play. That should be more beneficial for me. But these things happen, and there comes a Bunnelby, so my counter is on even quicker now. I do have an N in hand, so I'm not overly fussed in that regard, because I can just leave my hand being quite a big hand and then play M once I'm close to decking out, due to the fact I've taken prizes as well. It does mean that I'll only draw 4 at this point. So he's using Junk Hunt, getting 2 item cards back from his discard pile. I suspect we'll see a Crushing Hammer and maybe a Trickshaw, or maybe just double Crushing Hammer if he wants to try and get rid of those energies via Seeker and a Crushing Hammer. Okay, so take 10 damage for poison. Let's see what we get. If we can try and get this muscle band. No, not again. It's obviously a very risky tactic, just flipping for the heads, but at this point I don't feel I have too much of an option. There's not really much else going on. I just need to take prizes, so let's leave it with Lady Luck. There's 1 heads, there's 2 heads, we got it. So again, we got quite lucky there. It's all around a 50% chance. I don't know the exact odds without working them out. And a Lysander, which is nice. I believe Bunnelby only has 60 HP, so we can Lysander up Bunnelby next turn, unless he gets rid of more than 1 energy, which is very possible with a Crushing Hammer and Flare Grunt combo. So there's 1 energy gone. I do have another route to a Wing Condition here as well. I do have 2 energy on this Kyurem, so I can attach and Lysander up a Shaman as long as I can retreat this. I do still have 1 Floatstone left in deck. I suspect he's going to Team Flare Grunt. He's going for the Lysander. Interesting. Yeah, and that was something I was very wary of before. And I suspect he's going to Junk Hunt. Get a Crushing Hammer back. Maybe 2. maybe 2 this time, depending on what he's got in his hand. See if he can keep that active. What he doesn't know is that I play a second float stone in this list, so if we can get this float stone, then obviously it puts us in a very good position. He'll play the rough seas. Now we need to try and get this float stone. The problem is I don't know if it's in there or in there. I don't really want to discard things because obviously it brings us close to getting decked out. So I'm going to propagate an eggs back, and I'm going to play Ultra Ball to see what we've got left in deck. But I can't, can I? Of course, Garbodor's in play. So it's Ultra Ball, a Battle Compressor, and an Unknown. It's risky, but it gives me a bit of knowledge into what we've got going on. So fortunately, we don't have a float stone. So the float stone is prized, which is not ideal, but the muscle band is there. So I'm not going to take anything from that. I'm just going to attach an energy to Blastoise, and then I'm going to play N. Try and get rid of anything that he his Crushing Hammer, etc. that he got back, and 2 VS Seekers off that N. And then I'm going to end my turn. So I've got 13 cards left in deck. It does buy me a bit of time. Obviously, if he keeps getting heads on Crushing Hammer, I am perhaps in a bit of trouble. But we shall see. I played the Fisherman, so I can get that back on. Let's see what we've got. Now he has got Team Flagrant, so I suspect, yes, he's going to try and deck me out in that respect. And with Junkan, I actually don't think there is a viable win condition for me here. I don't play Xerosic, I don't play Tool Scrapper. He can just Flagrant the manual attachment every turn. I'll go for the Trick Shovels, deck me out. So we are on the spot of bother here, so I'm just gonna try and buy myself a bit of time. Let's get some energy back. That's Fisherman. It's not looking good at this position. It's not an ideal position to be in. If I have my second float stone, it would put me in a much stronger position, but these things happen. Let me just check that I haven't discarded both. There's prize. There's one. No, it is prized. So there we go. And over to Tamao. Just go on the Trick Shovel. Discard the top card on my deck, which is a Water Energy. And a second Trick Shovel. So he's going for the aggressive play here because he's also on the clock himself in regards to decking out. He only has 7 cards left himself, so he's in danger of decking himself. Obviously with Junkan you can get things back each turn, but his hand is precariously low. Does have the VS Seeker for Flagrant, which is frustrating. Ideally would like to get a Lysander. Lysander at one of the Shamans. Hope that he hasn't got any way to retreat for the turn. Buy me a turn for me to try and get something going. So he's going to Junkan. I suspect for a Trick Shovel and a VS Seeker. There we go. So he's got me under complete lock with the second float stone being prized, so I'm going to have to dig for this Lysander in hope that he can't Junkan same turn. I'm going to take the Muscle Band. It's largely irrelevant unless I can retreat. It's Blastoise, but we shall see. And I'm going to end my turn. So I do have, he may be able to retreat it, and he has Lysander again the next turn, but as it stands it's looking very unlikely that I will be able to retreat this. So we go through Mewtwo again. not too much of an issue. He can get rid of 4 cards in one turn from my deck, so I do have to be very wary because he has Bunnelby and he has 2 Trick Shovels in deck, so I do have to be very wary of that. Obviously Tamao's a very good player, so there's going to be no shenanigans where I can actually end him out of his own deck size, because he's getting 2 cards back every turn. So again, the Trick Shovel will be a Seeker. Okay, so I'm just going to take his discard. I mean, I suspect this may be futile because I suspect he hasn't used many energy at all, but we've got to give something a go. So there's no AZ in here, so I'm going to attach this energy. I'm going to Lysander up Lat Shaming because that one's got a Float Stone attached, and I'm going to end my turn. If he doesn't have an energy in hand, he could buy me a turn. I do have another VS Seeker. There we go, an AZ. With him playing that AZ, it does buy me a turn in terms of, so he's going for the big play next turn. He obviously has energy, so what I can do here is, let's see how much energy we've got left in the discard. So we only have 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it's not looking good, guys. Let's Superior away these 2. Get 3 energy back. And then I'm going to play in. The likelihood is he's got the win in hand with 2 Trick Shovels. So I mean, it was such a small hand size, and the fact they got Shaming back, he can likely get it, but we shall see. Let's force him to have it. And then it's end turn. If he has the energy double Trick Shovel, it will be game. There's 1. There's Super Rod getting some energies back. And I expect he's probably just going to Sycamore. Go for it here because it almost guarantees him the win, unless somehow the last card is a Trick Shovel, or yeah, basically only Trick Shovel, because the amount of energy he's put back in, he's guarantees getting them. And doesn't even need that. I've only got 2 cards left, and that is game. As you can see, it's a tough matchup. The key to the matchup is to make sure you get a Float Stone on Blastoise. Blastoise is very vulnerable to being Lysandered, and once you get Garbodor out, you can't attach energies. They just get rid of your energy each turn and store you from there. So he's borrowing for nothing, and that is game. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Quite an interesting matchup. Some dynamics that I'm interested in between the 2 decks. It's good to watch, good practice. Hope you like it. Like and subscribe below, and we'll see you all soon.